Okay, give me 10 quick push-ups. Jumping jacks. Go. You're slow. Go faster. Next, faster. Over your head. Now dash. Reverse. Let me begin to explain weakness in relation to muscular strength. The tricep muscle allows the forearm to extend, whereas the bicep muscle allows it to curl and retract. Let's talk about both bending and stretching. Imagine we have a tug of war. And both sides have a power of 5. Even if one side had a power of 10, and your side had only 5, the power differential is 5. If one side had a power of 10 and your side had 0, then the power differential would be 10. This is power dynamics. Your power must be compared to your opponent's power to determine the actual power dynamic. Speed increases power. Speed multiplies weight. To increase weight, you need weight training. This is especially true if you wish to compete in full contact karate. To increase your power, you must increase either your weight or your speed, preferably both. Remember, weight training will not increase your speed, but weight training is essential to compete at the international level. Strength is the combination of many muscles working together. For example, when throwing a ball, the full extension of both your arm and wrist together will give you top speed. Therefore, don't just punch using your arms. You must use your waist and hips together to achieve full power behind your punches. When kicking, remember this concept. Don't just use your leg. You must also use your hip to achieve more power. Remember, when kicking, you must prepare. Get your balance using one leg to provide support. And in this case, the front leg must be ready to raise the knee and deliver a kick. It's important to not just kick with the leg. You must use your hip to achieve maximum power. If you want to compete at the world-class level, you have to prepare. Your opponents are going to be 2 meters or 6 feet tall. They're going to be larger. And it's not enough for you just to be able to protect yourself with blocks. You're not going to score by just blocking. You've got to be able to go on the offensive too. Let's remember that using combinations of many muscles will give you the added power you will need. 筋力が足されていくということと脱力をするということ、これをまず覚えてくださいね。で、脱力をしたら強くなる。そしたらどうしたら脱力ができるのかということになってきます。ね。で、どうしたら筋力が足されていくのが分かるのかということになりますね。作用と反作用というのがあるんですけど、So now let's talk about action and reaction. How we can use muscle combinations to gain power. I'm going to draw a kicking figure on the board here. He is kicking the floor. When you kick the floor, it absorbs your power and returns it to you. That's why you can spring off the floor and go forward. You can use this spring to add more power to your punches. To have powerful punches, use your legs. Time your punch to coincide with your leg movements. Your hip is the key to beginning the kick. Your hip must twist to initiate the kick. Let's focus on the twisting of the hip. I'm going to teach you how to train your hip muscles. Let me draw some figures for you. These are muscles on the sides of your abdomen. You don't have to know the names of these muscles. The muscles exist on both sides of your abdomen. You want to develop them to work together. This third drawing depicts how they can work together, for example, in a twisting motion. The next drawing is of the buttocks. These muscles are pulled inward in the direction of the arrows. This will illustrate the twisting motion of the hips. To make a circular motion, one buttock muscle pulls in one direction while the other muscle pushes in the opposite direction. The buttock muscle that is pushing is on the kicking leg side. The other leg is your support leg. In order to perform a turning kick, your buttock muscles perform a lifting motion with your kicking leg. Then your stomach muscles will tighten and help continue the kick forward and upward motion. This will help you to have maximum power. It's not enough just to use your leg to deliver a kick. You must use the twisting motion with your hips. To develop the muscles needed for strong kicks, you must perform twisting sit-ups. Also, you use the hip twist to increase your punching power. To achieve your maximum power, know when to use full force and when to relax. Combining muscle power. Let me show you how to combine muscle power. A volunteer, please. Put your hands up and hold them like this. I need another student. Okay, these students are going to push against each other using their hips. Extend your rear leg and use your hips as you are pushing. Bend your rear leg to gain more power as you push. The knee is where the power is distributed. You feel like you are losing power, and it feels like you are pushing with your arms only. Stretch your rear leg gradually as you do this, and you will feel the added power. Absence of power. I need another volunteer. Take off your gi top. I'll show you how to relax your muscles. Make a fist. To make a fist, you use your forearm. Your bicep and tricep should be relaxed. Shake your arms. The skin of your upper arm should be able to shake while you have a fist. Relax your shoulder muscles too. Relax more. You should be able to see it shake more. When you punch, you need to snap. You should relax so that your punch comes back. I'm going to hit a student now. If my hand is relaxed and it is delivered with a snap, it will hurt the student. If I hit only with power, it is less effective. So when you deliver a blow, deliver it with a snap. You don't need a lot of power to have snap. Actually, the less the power, the more snap. Relax your upper arm. As soon as you throw the punch, it will naturally come back. Let's watch the student do some downward strikes now. For example, let's talk about track and field athletes. We want them to be fast. In the old days, they thought the best way to make faster athletes was to make them carry a heavy load while training. They thought the heavy loads would develop muscles. They thought that with these muscles, they would be able to run faster. We know better than that now. Today, we know that for athletes to go faster, they don't need a heavy load. Modern athletes are faster because we let them run faster without the heavy loads. We use training methods that make them go faster. One technique we use is to let an athlete run while being pulled by a motorcycle. Let's return to the student using downward strikes and punches. We are going to use gravity with this student's training. When the student makes a downward punch, he uses gravity to hit the target and quickly pulls it back. Gravity causes the punch to travel downward more quickly than it would to the side. Remember, weight training by itself is not going to help you increase your speed. Speed training is necessary for karate. Karate is not just using your hand to punch. You must use your hand, arm, shoulder, and hip together the right way. You must combine everything while relaxed to achieve maximum force for strikes and blows. If you continue to train in this way at least 3 times a week, I guarantee you will become stronger. I am now going to talk about kicking techniques. It is important to keep your support leg as straight as possible. Look at the left-hand drawing of the leg that is going to turn during a kick. The right-hand one is not going to turn during a kick. Let me explain kicking dynamics to you now. The left leg has a short distance between the axis and the edge. The right drawing shows a longer distance between the edge, left dotted line, and the axis, solid line. Therefore, the longer distance will not turn, but the shorter distance will. The longer distance has a greater possibility of falling. That's why it does not turn. That's why you need to keep the axis as straight as possible. The support leg in the direction of the kick will have slightly more of your weight placed on it. Twist your hip and move forward as you kick. When you deliver a front kick, it will pull back like this, not behind you like this. After you pull your kick back, you place it behind you. Normally you will kick and pull it back, but place it in front of you. This will allow you to punch at the same time. The movement looks the same for the kick or the punch. The first movement is to practice a low kick delivered inside the knee or thigh. Then practice kicks to the midsection. And finally, high kicks can be delivered to the head. Even from this posture, I can deliver higher kicks. The basic kick to train is the lower kick delivered to the knee or thigh. At this time, the supporting leg's foot will turn backwards as you deliver the kick. In other words, the foot is already turned backwards, so you can deliver the kick. At this time, don't forget to twist your hips when delivering kicks. The rear leg will provide support as the opposite hip twists to deliver the kick. Our legs look like this. We have a thigh bone, pelvis, and ligaments. The ligaments lie horizontally. That's why when you raise your leg to the side, like in kicking, the ligaments are stretched, which prevents you from kicking higher. When the leg is raised to the front, the ligaments are not stretched as much. Therefore, you can kick higher if you raise your leg in front slightly and then go higher with your kicks. If your hip joint is tight, this is especially important. People with tight hip joints deliver turning kicks that look something like this. For those same people to kick higher, they must raise their leg in front slightly and then turn to deliver the kick. Look at his body. His posture is straight. If he tries to kick and his upper body is leaning to the right or left, he cannot kick. If you are watching this student kick from the back, you'll notice his posture is straight as he kicks. Please do the kick again. As I told you before, the center line is very important when kicking. But the center line changes as you move to kick. Turning kicks are done the same way. If you have tight hip joints or a bad back, it's impossible to twist too much when you are trying to kick because you are trying to protect your injured parts. If you have this injury, the suitable way is to kick from the side. If you have a lower back injury and you kick like this, you will not re-injure yourself. Kick like this without power many times, without stopping. As you kick, your foot will naturally come back. Don't kick like this. Keep your body straight and maintain your balance. Simply kick without power and let the foot return naturally. Don't kick like this. Kick without power and you can kick many times. Sit down like this and kick upwards. Your foot will naturally fall, as in a front kick. You will feel it bounce as it falls. This is the front kick's natural position. Think back about what I just told you and try to remember at least one thing. Try to think about karate logically. Instead of just doing the movements as you were told, think about different things, like, is my center line straight? Is my timing okay, etc. Think as you practice. Thank you. Let me see. Why do people lose when they fight? When people are attacked, they naturally close their eyes at the moment of attack. At that moment, people turn their head or flinch. In Kendo, the most important thing is the eyes. Focus your eyes on your opponent like a laser. Imagine an invisible string connecting you to your opponent. If you lose this focus, you will lose. Even dogs and cats want to keep their eyes on their food or they will lose it. Your mind seeks to cut out the fight when you close your eyes. No matter what, if you are fighting for 2 minutes, you must keep your eyes focused on your opponent for the entire 2 minutes. Because your eyes and mind are focused on your opponent, you will be able to go forward and attack. When you close your eyes or take your eyes off your opponent, your mind is no longer on your fight. When you do that, your body pulls back and you will probably lose. Your body shows when you are running away. You are showing your weakness. Your eyes and your mental attitude communicate to your opponent that no matter what, you are not going to lose. Now I'd like to talk about self-imposed pressure. You impose pressure on yourself when you start worrying. When you look at your opponent's eyes, you may start worrying. You think that your opponent is big or aggressive. You think your opponent is from a better school. Even your coach sometimes worries about which university you will fight against. It looks like no matter how much you try, you are going to lose, because you have already decided that you are going to lose. When your coach tells you you are not a good fighter, and then tells you to try your best, it's useless. When you prejudge yourself and believe you can't win, no matter how hard you try, you are going to lose. One more thing. When you get attacked with combinations, you want to go backwards and stop immediately. Why do this? You need to decide for yourself that it is your turn to win now. When your opponent finishes attacking you with combinations, then that's the best chance for you to begin your attack. But you don't attack. Instead, you both stand there and try to decide what to do next. That is a very foolish thing to do. Right after your opponent's attack is finished is your best chance for you to attack and win. These self-doubts are the reason that you lose. I've been trying to tell you since yesterday how to fight. I am going to train you in the basic competition fighting techniques. When the fight begins, you need to push forward and attack first. When I say push, I mean be confident. Have a positive mental attitude and be at the top level of your physical ability. You are not supposed to go backwards or retreat just because somebody is pushing you. When your opponent comes at you, you should be able to lower yourself softly. If you posture like this and see your opponent coming at you, you may back away from your opponent's continuous moves. So when you see your opponent coming at you, you lower your body and counter. This is what I kept telling you yesterday. Okay, now everyone posture. Let's run through it a few times. Okay, get inside. That's it, get inside. Your left hand is held high towards the opponent's face, and your right hand is ready to hook onto your opponent's midsection. Again, drop down and come forward. Now I'm going to move, so you move with me, okay? Now the ready stance. Use your own timing and posture like this. See, like this. Tighten your elbows close into your body. And 1, 2, 3. Now posture. Throw your left punch towards the face and the right punch to the midsection. To close the distance quickly, slide your rear foot to behind your front foot as your front foot goes forward. Don't chop up your moves. Move smoothly with your head at the same level. Let's go. Keep your knees relaxed. 2. Come up here at once. Keep exhaling. Now come up here. Now turn around and go back. Relax and go. Okay, now stop. First of all, we need to review the basics of blocking. In a match, your opponent comes at you. It's best if you can position yourself where you want to. You often keep the distance and wait for the right moment to approach. Come again. See, this is slow, isn't it? When I want to block him, I step right in. This attitude of letting your opponent know that you have come to fight and that you will stay close and keep pressuring him is the theory of sen no sen that you are going to learn today. If you don't keep pressuring him, you can't master a fight. Most of you yesterday just wanted to back up and get hit at a distance, which is no good. From the moment the match begins, show your determination of coming at him. Come again. This way, the opponent will end up being followed by you. For example, come here, Sato. See, you don't like this, do you? By pushing a little, you intimidate your opponent. Try again. You attack like this. If I didn't close the distance, I would have received a hit in there. If you just stand here and wait, then your defense will be weaker as well. Come on again. See, like this, continuing to close the distance and approaching the opponent is important today. It's the basic of sen no sen. Everybody understand? Okay, pair up and practice. Everyone listen up. When the opponent's arm is fully extended like this, don't block. Block when it's bent like this. Block here and here. Okay, now the last 5 sets. Now we're going to work on the sen no sen lunge punch to the upper section of the opponent's body. That was the best right here. You punched this way. Okay, I saw someone doing this. That's no good. Don't turn your head to the side. Keep your face straight toward your opponent. Keep your chin tucked in tight as you throw the punch. This will keep you from getting knocked out. Let's go. Let's lunge punch to the upper section. Go ahead. You're not doing it right. Punch diagonally and hit him, okay? Ready? Punch it straight from your side. Again, go. I don't see your spirit. I don't see your spirit. Get down below your opponent's eye level. Come on. Let's move on to the midsection with these punches. If you close in like this, you will get beaten. I'm creating the pattern of being beaten. And right when he thinks he's got me, that's the chance for me to get him. When he comes in to attack, that's when I start. Relax. And this time, when you're looking like you're getting beaten, that's when you strike. Does everybody understand? Okay, now cut in like that. Keep the pressure on your opponent. But people make this mistake. In a match, you think you are doing the right thing, but your opponent scores a point. This is why. And your eyes are looking too high. Keep your stance low and hit when he attacks. Isn't it fast? I was faking him a little bit. Show him you are weak, and when he comes in, you attack. Based on sen no sen, I can cut him off before he ever gets started. All right? Okay, let's practice on the midsection. The first 5 sets, you don't do offense. You let your partner punch you. Now 1. Put your spirit into it. You approach your opponent, and before he can counter, you throw a punch from below. Let's go. Use your lower body. You're doing like this. Punch from this position. You must punch from underneath by having your knee in front. Ready, go. Make sure your left punch hits your opponent before he can hit you in the midsection. Go for the midsection. You're punching too high. Faster. Now 5. Use your lower body. You are having your hands and elbows too far ahead of you. Let your hands lead first and keep your elbow tucked inside and get ready. Your hips are pulled back, and that's absolutely no good. You have to correct it right away. If you keep making the same mistakes, you won't improve your techniques. All right? Because your mind is blank, you are not improving. Use your weight and do it like this, right here. Get your weight into the punch. All right? We'll review the front kick next. Taichi, come over here, please. With the front kick, when his toes leave the floor, you know he's going to kick you. All right, you have to stop it before the knee can come up. It's good to block when his knee comes up right here. When the front kick comes at you, pivot straight to the side. You don't need to use your power. From this position, you give a lunge punch. Don't do that. Don't run away. Do you understand? If you don't close the distance, you can't throw the lunge punch. None of you are closing in enough. See, without closing in, you can't block a kick. This is absolutely wrong. As you posture, close in right away. None of you are doing this. This is the key point for the day. Because you closed in, your kick can reach, right? You are simply waiting. This is no good. The person practicing Sen no Sen has to be more aggressive, like this. If you stay on top of him, he will back up. When you are backing up, you can't keep the pressure on him. Do you understand? Okay, now let's practice the front kick. Apply the kick, okay? I have written on the board 1-2, but actually it means 1. Because if you follow Sen no Sen, there is not going to be the second punch. After the first punch, there won't be another. We are practicing so that you can stop the 1-2 punch after the first punch. Do you understand? An opponent is often off guard when attacking. It is important to catch that moment to counterattack the opponent. If you keep pressuring, your opponent's attack will let up. Use your timing and counter. When the situation is right, pivot to the side 45 degrees. Maintain your stance and counter to the midsection. This means that you stay in close like I showed you just then with a student. In other words, if you are not in close, you'll have to work your way inside again. So once you have taken a chance and worked yourself inside, your opponent will have no choice but to retreat. You've seen this before. When you are just followed and kept moving away, you won't be able to control your fight. It's best to move your midline to a favorable position while attacking an opponent's midline. You must always pressure your opponents and read their moves immediately so that you can attack them before they attack you. Taking control of your fight is important. Keep pressuring your opponent. While the pressure is on, you can judge your opponent's strategy immediately. Then you have to attack before your opponent can counterattack. When he tries to escape or counter, you have to be inside and make your move. If you are too far apart, your attack can't reach him. That's today's point. Don't go on the defensive from the start. You can't attack if all you do is get in your defensive stance. Take your heel off the floor and distribute your weight 60% in the front and 40% in the back. Spring off your heel, pushing off your big toe. Do you understand? Get in your stance and explode forward. Speed training is needed to have karate's dash power. By practicing, you can get inside even faster. Training like that is as important as karate practice. Okay? Do not go into a defensive position. Learn the rhythm to pressure the opponents. If I know how to get inside their reach, I know I am in a safe zone. So no matter how hard Tai Chi tries to hit me, if I'm inside his reach, I can get through. But you try to, for example, okay, come on and give me a 1-2 upper section punch. Okay, once more, upper body. If you are running away, then you'll get hit here with the second punch. Do you understand? Like this, the second punch is not going to come at me if you are inside. Getting inside the opponent's reach will put you in the safety zone, which is important. Because you move your face away so that you won't get hit in the face. That's why you end up getting hit in the face. Most of you are punching and moving your head backwards at the same time. If you do that, the punch will go straight to your chin. Give me an upper section punch. Those who move away like this or those who move away to this side will end up getting hit. By getting close in, you are avoiding his punches. Show your aggressiveness when you fight, which is the most important thing. You've got to show him you are ready to fight. Also, show him you are calm. Your body is ready to fight while your mind stays calm. If you stay calm, you can read your opponent's mind and recognize the flow of the fight. For example, your opponent scored a point. You think you can't go for his upper body, but you are being chased, so you want to go outside. That's calmness. Instead, if you are quiet, bowing and standing there waiting, your opponent will not be afraid of you. At first, with Sen no Sen, you start by staring at your opponent. Show him you are ready. And let your mind say, come on. Be confident about your practice. Be creative. And the most important thing is to know that you can't practice exactly the same thing that others do. If you do what others do, you cannot be a champion. You have to be aggressive. If you are waiting, you will get hit. By closing in, you can hit. Because you wait inside of initiating the fight, that's why you get the upper hand. Waiting is not practicing Sen. Think about what you are going to do to destroy your opponent and get close in. And throw the upper section punch from below the eye level of the opponent. You come in from below the eye level of the opponent. All right? Closing in is important. Come on, Tai Chi. Watch my legs. Okay, watch my legs. I'll show you how to do your lunge punch. Okay? If your foot is not moving, you can't punch. Okay, get farther apart. And those who are blocking must close in more. Okay, get apart. Keep your head straight as you punch. That's it. Keep your head straight as you punch. Your front foot has to go forward as you punch. Get in your stance and move forward a little bit. While your opponent comes to you, move forward more. Look at your feet. They are not moving like they should. This is no good. Move both of your feet forward as you punch. Now let's go. Ready? Okay, throw a right middle punch. Against this middle punch, do this. You see it? I use my knees to push him back so I can attack. But if I raise myself even a little after the middle punch, let's see what happens. See, I get punched in here. So don't block a middle punch like this. Instead, do this. Before the opponent gets to you, you've got to get him. Punch with both hands inside at the same time. Inside like this. At the same time, your feet move together. That's why you need to be lower. Okay? This is no good because your front foot is not moving together. Okay? Let's try it. Apply the absence of power as Mr. Imamura told you. Punch and relax. Let's do it slowly. Middle section punch. Not 1 and 2 like this. Do it together at the same time. After your muscles are stretched, relax, and your arms will naturally come back. Do this. Don't turn your necks. All right? Now let's make some space between each other. Okay, as I said earlier, because you close in on your opponent, he will be intimidated, and then you can punch. Think about destroying the opponent. Let's go. Immediately go back to your ready stance. Throw your punches from underneath, not from the side. It would be better if you could punch from underneath. One person was doing this. Instead of finishing up like this, you would rather go back to your ready stance like this. If your opponent does not think he has hit you, he will keep coming at you. When your opponent gets inside, you'll do this, and you would rather pivot to the side and get in your ready stance. Okay, let's try it again. Many of you are not listening. You guys over there are not doing it right. What did I say? You punch at the same time your foot moves. Punch at the same time. Pivot with your front foot. Your body can move like this. But you are not doing anything to finish it up. That's why it is not good. Okay, let's try it. Okay, you can stop now. You were using your right hand at the end, weren't you? The reason to close in is for sen no sen. You try to close in, but you can still be too far. If you can't reach, you alternate a block and punch. If you could reach, you can punch, of course, because it's quicker than blocking. You still want to close in, but if you couldn't close in enough, you can use both hands. Like this. You understand? It may be a little difficult, but I would like to introduce two types of blocks. There are blocks for sen no sen. For example, well, give me a lunge punch to my upper body. I'll show you only the forms, since the floor is too hard to throw an opponent. I don't want you to get hurt today. Now, for example, from this position, you can block like this. Okay, let his punch pass your left shoulder, and then you punch. It's a kind of combination technique. You use this combination technique against the opponent when he is really close to you. The technique is used without a pause. If you stretch all the way here, you don't even use all your power. And if you see your opponent sway back like this, you can attack even better. If you're relaxed, you can simply trip him up. But the closer your opponent is, the higher you can throw him in the air. Okay, I'll show you why. No, don't do that like that. Right here, catch in this part and this part. That's what you have to do. Use your whole body. Put your weight into it. You can flip him like this. Okay, let's start practicing. The Europeans often apply this practice. In Germany, we were doing this for about 8 years in the seminar of 1,200 people, and they started getting better. You go along with your opponent and get your timing. Okay, let's try it again. When your opponent's foot is about to land on the floor, that's when you make your move. The right hand goes like this. I keep talking about knees too. This doesn't work because you're leaning back. But because you are positioned forward, it works like this. By doing it right, you can flip him over and get an ippon. Especially against those opponents who are attacking from a distance. You close in and flip him when he is off the floor. You may not be able to do this right away, but it's a good technique to keep in mind. Okay, let's practice. In sen no sen, as you approach your opponent, and when your opponent gets right in front of you, take what you can. Do you understand? If you close in as you block, you'll score more points. Also, you will be able to attack diagonally the opponent's midline. Okay, can you come here, please? Okay, give me your lunge punch to my upper section. Instead of doing it this way, do it like this. Do you understand? If you move diagonally, you are ready to attack again right away. But if you move straight forward, go ahead, give me another one. Moving diagonally is the best position. This is about an attacker. Mental preparation is the same as in Sen no Sen. Apply pressure all the time. Without pushing, it is hard to judge how to respond to your opponent's offense. So use the Sen no Sen method here. Most of the offense and defense are taken according to how each contestant moves and often neglects blocks. In other words, you tend to throw a punch when you see your opponent trying to punch. You often neglect blocking. The judges will give you a point if they see you block. Whereas if they see both contestants throw punches to each other, it will be hard for them to see which one gets the point. This is why it's good to block and attack at the same time to increase your chance of winning. Okay? Keep blocking patiently until you see the right moment to go for the position where it's inside your opponent's reach or outside of the opponent. This is the attacker's mental preparation. The point is that no techniques can be applied to win the match when you're in a safety zone. The techniques of Sen no Sen require a sharp vision to capture a moving object so that you can wait until the last moment to capture an opponent's move. Sensei Takimoto of Okayama Sanyo knows various ways to train this ability. The national team took his training, which I thought was excellent. The way you use your eyes becomes very important. This morning we had speed training on how to make your muscles respond quickly. But you can respond only when you're able to see something. That's why your eyes are very important. For example, when you're in a train, try to read the signs as they flash by. It's good to repeatedly do this. By distracting the course of opponents' moves, you can defend yourself and also create offense. Instead of going straight to the opponent and defending each other, you'd rather block and get yourself in an advantageous position first. Today we are learning Sen no Sen, which means to keep the pressure on your opponent and attack. When you can't attack him, then your defense has to be ready to protect you until you can attack. Now we are talking about Go no Sen, which is my specialty. It basically means you confuse others. If you talk about this in a sense of true and false moves, you need more false moves to trick your opponent. You have to establish a style where no one can read what move you're going to make next. If you make a stance like this and reveal you are throwing a midsection punch, then you will never become a champion. Don't advertise what you're going to do, but be ready for any move you want to make. If your opponent knows you are throwing a punch to his upper section, then of course he is going to sink and attack you in the midsection. Again, take advantage of that opponent's move. You pretend you are throwing an upper hand punch, but actually a midsection punch. Okay, you have to trick your opponent. Again, you pretend you are kicking. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, you have to trick your opponent. Here you are pretending to kick, but you come from underneath and attack. Also, you have to be able to pressure your opponent constantly. If you stay outside, it won't work. You have to go close to apply pressure on your opponent. Okay, otherwise it won't work. In order to have your opponent throw something at you, you first have to show him something to hit. For example, you make a stance like this and ask for a lunge punch. And then when the opponent tries to give you the lunge punch, you block and attack. Okay? This is what Go no Sen is all about. Have the opponent move first, and then you block and counterattack. Pressuring the opponent is part of Go no Sen. Do you understand? Okay, I'll show you the basics. Don't wait for an upper section lunge punch thrown at you. It's meaningless to wait. Okay, do it like this. What you're giving me is a lower section punch. Give me an upper section. Invite your opponent's low punch and then counterattack. If you did the same thing here in a distance, then it'll be too far away. Okay, now you practice. Okay, let's do it faster. You can do it on 1 and 2, but you should really make it on 1 with your knee in front. Okay? It's not pom-pom, but pom, with your knee in front. Let's go, do it faster. Stick your knees out more. Put pressure on your opponent. Be apart more. When you finish, many of you sway back like this. Get back to your ready stance. Keep your knees inside, okay? Let's try it again. Get your elbows pulled in. Ready? When you punch, spring. Stretch your muscles and then relax. When you punch, some of you are doing it like this. You first go straight and close in, and then shift by 15 to 45 degrees. Try it again. Ready? That's better. Okay, an opponent may come this way. That's right, come right at me. Use your full body weight. Do it harder. Against an opponent who is coming with his full body weight like this, it takes too much time if you try to adjust your distance and use your hand to block him. In this case, you shift backward using your knees. Okay, I'm completely relaxed, but just by shifting myself using my knees, his attack fails. Because you try to block it with your palm, see, you get attacked. Okay, watch me. To cut off the opponent's attack means that you absorb his attack, like this. If you don't do this, then the chance will go away. Keep yourself in the midline and put pressure on him. Right after you absorb his attack, then give him your attack. Okay, so right after you absorb his attack, that's when you give him your attack. Okay, like this. You return your attack with a spring in your step. If you disturb his distance, he cannot reach me. See, he doesn't reach me. If you learn this way of distancing, it will help you. This is what you want to do. You hold your breath for a second and then move away. You need to exhale. Okay, let's practice this now. Again, a 1-2 punch. For this, if you are right in the middle, block like this. Okay, this is a type of sen no sen. But this time, you go from a side and throw an upper section punch. He thinks he is going to throw me a 1-2 punch. But move to the side like this. And if you want to step in from the side, come this way. Move to the side and then boom. To throw a punch, move to the side like this. Against the 1-2 punch, you move away and punch like this. Swish his hand in front or drop it. You swish his hand between his first and second punches. At the end, move to the side and then punch. At the end, move to the side and then punch. Okay, we'll practice this now. Like this, you get yourself in very close. Okay, then step to the side. Use your knee as the key. Now sweep the leg. You come to the side like this. Okay, like this. Sweep his leg. Switch your feet. This is not sweeping the leg. Take down from the inside. With this method, you need to hold the shoulder as you kick. The opponent comes to you, boom. If you do this, your opponent cannot see your kick. If your opponent cannot see your kick, it's a good kick. You may not be able to do this yet, but try. Okay, you may not be able to, but give it a try. In Sen no Sen, be prepared with your feet so that you can go inside your opponent. Without training, your feet cannot move fast. Please relax and sit. When jumping to the side or making other movements, feet are what move your body. Even if you punch, what makes it effective is your feet. With your feet, you go forward. Then your opponent feels the pressure, and he doesn't like it. You can get inside before your opponent can get at you in a dangerous zone, and you'll take advantage of him. This is Sen no Sen, okay? But if you just wait for the right moment to get inside, you won't be able to get inside at all. Keeping pressure on your opponent at all times to take the chance of attacking is Sen no Sen. Go no Sen is to fake out your opponent. Take the best possible position and use the best technique possible. To do this, you need to let your opponent perform his technique first, which relates to Sen no Sen. Your willpower is important. Your willpower and your soul, together with confidence and fighting spirit, are the most important factors. In Gono-sen, it'll be best if you master the ability to read your opponent's moves. However, you first need to mentally prepare to take the lead, which is Sen-no-sen. In other words, if you keep on pressuring the opponent, you will be able to tell he is going to punch or kick. It's wrong to stay in the safety zone and wait for your opponent to make a mistake, because that won't happen, especially in the case of a skillful contestant. Because you close in on the opponent, you can fake out the opponent. I'm basically telling you the same thing over and over again about Sen-no-sen. The point is, just because you are ready to block your opponent, don't wait for that moment to block or you will lose. You must overpower your opponent by your spirit and close in enough that the opponent cannot attack you. You are the only one who can achieve your pride, fighting spirit, and confidence. No matter how hard your instructors try to teach you, if you don't have the positive attitude necessary to build your confidence, then the instructor's passion and your passion cannot be together as one. It's a waste of time for both parties if they couldn't unite their passions. Because the instructor is not going anywhere in his teaching, and the student will keep losing that because they can't improve their fighting skills. Your passion and skills have to be in balance. Your ideas improve your skills, and your passion comes from your daily life. And once again, using Sen-no-sen, keep pressuring the opponent to the limit, and when he can no longer attack you and is pausing, you attack him. Dare to challenge your opponent and let him try to attack you with the Sen-no-sen method, and then you fake him out using Gono-sen. Okay, that's all. This is the 10th year since we started the annual summer camp of 1,200 students in Germany, sponsored by the German Federation. For this camp, the top 5 or 6 competitors from the World Championships are invited. There are 2 lessons every day, one in the morning and another in the afternoon, for about a week. It's a wonderful opportunity for the students because they can train and study at the same time. I've been doing seminars like that overseas almost every month. I am also the coach of Fukuoka University. I invite a few high schools to the camp to participate. This time, I tried to organize a seminar of techniques in Japan that can be attended on Saturday and Sunday only. I may be the first one to hold this kind of seminar. I tried to make these teaching seminars. The main theme of these seminars is to teach basic fighting skills. I am teaching the instructors how to develop better fighters and the attitude that they need to win a match. To fight, you have to know how to control it. To have a winning match, you have to be able to take the lead from the moment the match starts. If you wait, or if you don't show your fighting spirit, the opponent will take advantage of you. On the reverse side, by getting in close to your opponent, you may have more danger zones. But by daring to get in the danger zones, you can confuse the opponent. Sen-no-sen is the idea of how to gain an advantageous psychological attitude, skills, and position in a match. By having these basic techniques for fighting, you can block and counterattack the opponent. Then you use Gono-sen. By using Gono-sen, by being able to read what your opponent is going to do, then you can fake him out. If you only use Gono-sen from the beginning, you may lose every time. Or if you try to counterattack the opponent from the beginning, you may be the one who ends up being deceived. I used the writing board today to help you understand that if you use Sen-no-sen all the time, you will be able to take the lead of the match without being faked out. While I was overseas, I began to think if I could do something like this in Japan. Due to the situation here in Japan, we can only train like this on Saturday and Sunday. I am living as a professional karate instructor, and my big mission is to hold high the Japanese flag for the national team. My desire is to teach young students from junior high, senior high, and universities and develop them into strong competitors. This seminar reflects such a desire, and I intend to hold more long-term camps in Japan in the future.
合宿なんかやりたいと思ってます。